If you currently own a vehicle wrap shop and you're under $1 million and you feel like you are working day and night constantly on growing your business, but you feel stuck and you've been stuck for a while now, this video might be for you. There are things that are silently robbing you of your time and focus day and night in your business, and they feel very productive and they feel like they're pushing the needle, but in fact, they don't make you any money. Now, who am I and why should you watch this video? My name is Brent Knott. I own Design It Wraps in Jacksonville, Florida, and I've built my business to multi-seven figures, all while living remotely in Mexico. I've also coached and consulted around 100 vehicle wrap shops across the country, and I've even helped 7 shops to date cross the 7-figure mark. So what we're going to be covering is 100% things that you can implement into your business that are proven, and they were not just a one-off thing just for me. Now, one of the biggest time sucks in your business that is absolutely required is social media content and getting known. Basically, anymore in 2026 is not so much about being the best, but the best known. And I've really been curating the Wrap Shop Academy's Instagram lately. So over the last 3 years, I personally have not consumed vehicle wrap content. I have mostly consumed content from our industries that we serve so that I could understand the customer avatar better. But lately I've been curating and making sure to follow lots of wrap shops. And there is one common denominator that I'm seeing, and that's shops are making content that is getting tons of engagement, but they're getting the wrong engagement. If you don't believe me, go on your Instagram right now and go look at the content that most shops are posting. There are some shops doing it really good. There's one, I think it's Promo Box Media, that is absolutely crushing as far as the style of content that we need to be creating. We need to document our work and our activities that we are doing. There's a show on television on how it's made. People love seeing the process. We have a very satisfying process. So that is being done. But sometimes we get caught up in, it's a slippery slope where the edge is this wide. Is it to educate the customer, or is it to show off to our industry? Or is it to put down a customer on something that is a problem, such as, let's just say it was AI flyers or AI designs, and we make a video about how shitty customers are whenever they bring us AI designs, rather than making content about how and why AI designs don't work and what you are doing about it as the local concern for your customers and or audience that you are serving on your social medias. All of the engagement that you're getting where you have other wrap shops circle jerking you is not serving you at all. There are people with huge followings that don't make any money. Views are not dollars. That is one of the biggest things that I had learned. I personally invested $25,000 in a mastermind with Omar El Takori, and he used to work for Think Media. And he got tired of working for creators because creators made tons of views, but they never knew how to make money from it. Whereas he started working with small businesses and entrepreneurs because we know how to make money from nothing. And I was talking with him on one of our very first calls, and he basically said that, or I basically made the comment that, hey, you know, these YouTube videos that you are currently consuming right now only get like 100 views. And he goes, bro, what do you mean? And I was like, you should be happy that you have 100 views. I was like, well, it doesn't really feel that way. And I was like, it feels like nobody's really consuming said content. And he goes, imagine you were in a room right now and I handed you a mic and you were in front of 100 of the right customers. Would you be nervous? I was like, yeah. He goes, then why are you so upset that you got 100 views on YouTube? And it made perfect sense to me. So I actually reverse engineered the math. Who cares if the educational for customer content only got 100 views or 500 views? It doesn't feel good when you post it. You don't get the dopamine. But if you're wrapping at $4,000 a unit, you only need about 60 to 63 units for the year to do, let's say, $250,000. If you're a auto restyling and or commercial wrap company, and let's just say your average price was $4,000. So that's 1 unit a week. So you only need to convert 60 views. Think about the conversion of what you need. Now, obviously, you do need the abundance of views in a way to, not everybody's going to close or convert on the views, right? But change your lens in how you're fabricating your content. I think that you should generate some top of funnel content. And I do think that you should generate some content where installers agree with you about your skills, because if the majority of your content is to your ideal customer avatar, but then you post something about, hey, look how skilled I am, and then other installers also compliment you on that. So Arnie's Garage does a really good job at this, where he was showing how he was doing a cut and drop and how he took the time, rather than stretching it in and then cutting out the box and letting it fall in, he actually took the time to make a singular like relief cut, pull the material back, work it around, make the next relief cut, and then come down, and there was zero stretch. And in fact, he was actually outside and it didn't stretch at all. So he was demonstrating his expertise. And you know what? A lot of installers are like, dude, this is proficient. This is high skill. Like people were commenting on how good of a job that was. But a lot of his content is actually then demonstrating the work itself for the customer and why they are the local concern, why they are the right decision for the business that they have. And I think it's important because they currently, I believe, operate out of their garage. And I don't know where they're at in revenue right now, but I do know that last time we spoke, he was around $500,000 plus out of his garage. That's bigger than some of you guys with the black shops with the lights and the epoxy floors or the Swiss tracks. And it's because he focused on the customer. If you look at his content, he has very wide content, which would get tons of views. But I would say the majority of it is, why should you use his business? And that is what's going to matter. And so if you're making content right now and you're not really getting leads and you feel like you're burnt out on making content, then stop making content for our industry. Start making content for your 5-mile radius. Become local famous. Who cares about social media? If you're enjoying this episode and you're tired of growing and scaling your vehicle wrap shop alone, then I invite you to join our Wrap Shop Academy Operator Program. Now, what is the Operator Program? Why should you join? It is a monthly consulting call with myself, John Duver, and Dan Workman, as well as an AI consultant that's basically been trained on the last 3 years of every single call, coaching, consulting that myself, John, and Dan have completed. And it's trained on your specifics to your business to make sure that the answers that you receive are not generic. So if you're interested in joining the Operator Program with the Wrap Shop Academy, then click the link below and we'll see you on our next call. I made $1 million plus in my shop on a little tiny island. So and there's multiple shops like in Hawaii that do the same thing. So like if you say that you're in a little small area, then you're wrong. You just aren't known well enough in your area. But become 5-mile famous in your business. Stop worrying about the masses. Start focusing on the fundamentals, including myself. Like, we got away from this for years and I'm starting back in it. We got 5 Google reviews this week. And we're going to start trying to get 3 to 5 every single week moving forward. And we're going to make sure that the customer, if at all possible, will include a photo of their completed work, how good it was, and try to let customers know exactly what it was. And we're trying to curate SEO content on our Google My Business. Our Google My Business is far more important than our Instagram. It's your local concern. Then where are customers going to go when they find you on your Google My Business? Well, they're going to go look at your Instagram. And if you got content on there that's saying like, hey, stupid customer, why'd you bring me an AI design? Or, hey, Mr. Customer, this is what happens when you don't show up to work. Or me working for all the customers that says like, I'll do it for a discount. And like, or the customers who don't show up in the morning, like whatever the scheduling process is, and like they're cleaning a car and it's empty. Like, yeah, it's really funny, but it doesn't serve your customer. So do 10% of your posting like that. I'm not saying don't do it, because it does get views and it does increase your authority, but it does not convert sales. And that is probably one of the biggest things that I have learned in doing this whole YouTube thing, is because I know for a fact, I get DMs every day of the massive impact that we are making with Wrap Shop Academy. But how few people actually watch it. And that's all that matters. One of the other things I think that should be done a lot more is documenting and recording content of your customer picking it up. There are certain people that do this very well, but I think Atlanta Custom Wraps does this a lot, where they record and document people picking up their personal wraps. Like, especially if you're doing restyling, like, you need to document how excited the customer is, because you already have the uphill battle of one. It's a commodity item. So you got to be the best, or the best customer experience, or convince them as to why you are the right choice. With commercial wraps, it's a lot easier because there's a lot more components to it that you can sell yourself on. For example, there's a young man, Maryville Wraps in Tennessee. He does a really good job at documenting the customer after they've received the product. He goes and records them and says, hey, tell me about your business. And he asks a couple questions. And then from there, he's like, well, why did you use Maryville Wraps? Well, you guys actually picked up the phone. You were super communicative. You cared about my journey. You cared about my vision. Like, he's letting the customer pitch your future customers, and it's evergreen. That is the type of content we should be focusing on. Because whenever a customer says, oh, well, your price too high, say, hey, Mr. Customer, I totally understand. However, I am biased. How about I just send you a playlist of people that also had the same concern, and I'll let you make that decision based on that. I would love to serve you. I guarantee that if you can just make that one change, your business will massively improve. And so I think this is why this matters more than anything, is we are in a trust recession. We as consumers, whatever we buy, doesn't matter if it's your customer buying a vehicle wrap or something else, we are heavily marketed to. Everything's so fabricated. And us actually switching away from scripting and more so focusing on documenting the process will gain your customers' trust. And then if we actually start making the content to the customer and the problems that we solve for our customer, then it's just only going to compound from there. Now, the second thing that's really robbing a lot of people of their focus is, and this is probably more towards the younger crowd, or the middle of the pack crowd, more so than it is the old head guys, but it is so easy to start side hustles now with AI and to try and build something, and you feel incredibly productive. But like, if you're one of these people that are trying to build something with AI, I just have one question. How long have you worked on it, and has it made you money? It feels really good. I've been sucked up in the trap. I built RapQuote Pro like 2 years ago to help Torque CRM with the pricing engine that we built. But I had an end goal in mind. My goal wasn't to sell a product. My goal was to gather and aggregate data. So I wanted to know how shops priced, what was their constraints, et cetera. So I had an end goal. I put a sum of work into it, and then I left it alone. But I'm seeing people coming up with really cool tools, but then they want to go and start a whole business around it, and so a subscription-based product. Well, I just want you to look at the landscape. If you're one of those people, be cautious. 1, does it align with your goals? And 2, is it actually making you money? And is it making you enough money to ignore the asset that you already have? That's the big thing, is you are hopping into, okay, you guys think that vehicle wrap industry is saturated. Go play with the white collar dudes playing an AI who are also getting slashed from their jobs. Think that for a minute. Or think about that for a minute. Like, you're literally going to go contend with people that are sitting at home and they're working harder than I've seen many people work, because the AI landscape is moving so fast. But you're trying to build and develop all these things, and then like it's harder right now than it will be in 2 months, let's just say. And so you're going to spend all this time, and then like in 2 months it's just going to be like that, and you can just have it done. Look at OpenClaw. OpenClaw was this whole fad. Everybody had to have one, and all of a sudden 2 weeks later disappeared, right? Because agents got better. So instead, I think if that's where all the hype is, and there's a lot of hype, think about who makes money during gold rushes, by the way. The people who make money during the gold rush was not the people sifting for gold. It was the people who sold you the tools, AKA the people you're buying tokens from, and or the people that you are buying coaching from. I'm not saying that you cannot do it. I'm just saying understand what is the cost. What is the cost for you ignoring and neglecting a business that is only getting stronger? What is the cost? So I'm going to use COVID for example, just because it's a situation that I went through. I haven't gone through all the crazy life things, but I have gone through some. And COVID, a lot of shops shifted their gears entirely, went entirely aggressively into trying to sell 6 foot apart stickers, partitions, the handrail clean stuff from Hexus, I think it was. You had all these like things that went around, and there was a huge opportunity for these things, right? But in that time, they neglected their primary offer. And I guarantee you a lot of those businesses halted in momentum for those services. Whereas during COVID, yes, I did sell those things. And yes, I did make a lot of money, but I wasn't focused on shifting and pivoting my business. It's kind of like, let's put it in a different situation. If you have one really, really big fleet and you put all your marbles in their basket and you always put them first, but then you ignore the $500,000 worth of revenue customers that you had prior, and then they just leave you because you only ever take care of that one customer and you're always late on theirs, then that one customer leaves, AKA COVID ends or whatever it may be. AI gets good enough that it actually is just simple. Whatever the situation is, was it worth it? Because now that thing's gone, COVID's gone, the fleet customer decided to choose somebody else because the fleet manager changed, whatever it is. And then all of a sudden, all the people that got you there, the individuals who truly supported you, you ignored. Well, you're doing your business the same way whenever you're trying to build all these apps. I got somebody right now that I know that is late on rent. They're over here posting a feel-good stuff on Instagram. They are building an app to do stuff. Like, it's a lot of production. It feels productive, but does it make you more money? And in most cases, the answer is no. In most cases, it's like, well, I haven't got there yet, but your business is what makes you the most money. And I know some of you guys might see me and say like, oh, well, you have more than one business than Design It. Like, no. The first thing my mentor told me when I was trying to exit my business is, and I try not to sugarcoat this stuff because I want you guys to know the reality. I don't lie to any of you guys. Like, it's been hard for 3 years when removing myself from the business, but I was willing to sacrifice something. There is a sacrifice always, but what Bill told me was, you cannot do Torque CRM and Design It. You can't. You can only be the operator in one. I said, okay, fantastic. That's all I needed to hear. And he kind of thought like I was just being arrogant, but I literally hired a director of operations for Design It. And it's basically almost like an acting CEO. And I am board of advisors, if you will. Now, it has taken me 2 or 3 years to refine that to where I bought all my time back and I was making a small sum of money, but it's taken me 3 years and a lot of effort and learning to guide a director of operations or a replacement of myself without physically working in order to get that business to the point that I can receive the dividends that I was receiving while I was working in it. I made a decision to work fully only in one business, and that was Torque CRM. And if I didn't do that, I would have half-assed served Torque CRM customers and I would have half-assed served my Design It customers. Meanwhile, Letha, my director of ops, is all in, handles everything, payroll, everything. So unless you can do that, then it's not worth neglecting your main thing. Because your main thing will get you other things, but first you need to replace yourself. And if you're sub, I don't know, 1.2 million, odds are you're not doing that. You don't have the capital to do so. And so it should be your goal to get to 1.2, 1.5, and then you actually have the means to replace yourself with a replacement of yourself. And then you need to jump from there between 1.2 to like 2.5 to actually start receiving dividends from that to compensate for paying a high-waged earner that is replacing you. And then you are receiving money as a business owner on just distributions, not salary. So I just challenge you to question, Are you currently chasing a shiny object? I think it's okay for you to build a tool for your business, but don't go out there try to start a side hustle to sell it to everybody. Because what's going to happen whenever you have to maintenance that or something breaks? It's on you to fix it, and it's your namesake, and your name is worth keeping integrity around. Like, let me tell you, you don't know what you're going to be doing in 5 years. I didn't. It's crazy how much my life has changed, but you do not know what it is that you will be doing in this industry in 5 to 10 years. And you do not want to start burning bridges and lowering the integrity behind your name today. So stick to the main thing. Wraps is a just massively lucrative industry. Like, there's a reason why I believe private equity is headed into our industry. I don't necessarily want that to happen in certain ways, but I do in others, because it's only going to develop and grow our industry and bring more awareness to what we are doing, which is just going to create more opportunity. Now, my final combatant to why you should focus on your wrap shop rather than these side hustles is because service-based industries are the next millionaires. Tommy Mello, just watch him. He owns a chunk of Kick Charge Creative, for example. But he's in our industry. He owns A1 Garage Service. He is currently, I believe, $250 to $350 million, possibly more, in revenue in a garage door business. And he is coaching and consulting other people to level up. And there are many other guys that are much smaller than him that are doing just the same. And our customers that we serve in the vehicle wrap industry, they're getting really good at what they do. And if they get really good at what they do, they're going to continue to grow. And if they continue to grow, guess what they need? They need vehicles. They need wall wraps. They need everything that we offer. And so while you're over here side hustling some AI thing against all these other guys that are also doing the same thing in a massively saturated market, you're getting left behind on the real opportunity. So don't take your eyes off the ball. It's not as fun. It's super fun to prompt up and create stuff. Like, let me tell you, like, I get caught in the trap sometimes, but it is way more important for you to stick to the boring thing, which is our service-based industry, to help these other service-based industries grow. Because there is going to be a billionaire soon that is just doing garage doors. Like, just think about that for a second. And if that is true, then you only need a small slice of that to hit your goals, most likely. And so I want to sum it up with, on the third point, that being busy, I've already hit on it some, but being busy is not being productive. Anytime you catch yourself, and it's okay if you make this error, like, guys, I do it. I've said it multiple times. I do it all the time. But if you catch yourself, just constantly ask yourself this question on, let's just say weekly, on Friday, ask yourself the question, was I busy or was I productive? Did the things that I work on this week align towards my goals? And also question, should my goals change, or is that a distraction? Do my goals align with my vision? So this is why you need a grander vision. And if you have issues with vision, then watch the video that I last posted where there's a 63-year-old that's trying to figure that out. But so you really need to ask yourself to create a business compass of, where are you going? How will you get there? And what does that look like? And it's a really hard question to ask. But once you actually designate that compass, it actually allows you to start taking those reflections on, let's just say, Friday. And if you worked on a tool this week, then it's like, cool, does that serve me? Does it make me money? If no, odds are you need to recorrect and recalibrate and actually get on task of things that actually make you money. Especially as the business owner, you need to constantly be doing basically only things that drive revenue, which is getting more leads, following up with leads, closing leads, delivering great work so that your client sends you more. And in fact, I think if you went to this just one real base principle, if you treated every customer that came into your business as if the only way to get more business was to get a referral from them, you will literally solve all of your business problems in regards to sales, leads, and revenue. If you start treating your customers as if they are the last stop before you close down your business, and no matter what, you serve them so well that you get your next job, then you'll actually start to see what really matters. And at the end of the day, the only thing that matters in our business is that we serve our customers. And I think we're getting away from that a little bit. And typically, anytime that you do the opposite of where everything else is headed, so many businesses already are making like AI responding agents and all that stuff. And like, that's really cool. And it does help and it has its place. But if you just double down on hospitality and stuck to the fundamentals, like, you'll stick out and people will want to do business with you because they know, like, and trust you. And if you're struggling to work on only revenue generating activities, then I challenge you to take your first 2 hours of your day and just start with that. Make it a bite-sized chunk, but start with your first 2 hours of making contacts to people. It could be as simple as literally like going on Instagram and liking and curating your algorithm for your local service-based industry. Be 5 Mile famous. It's not that hard. I think we make it much more complex than what it needs to be. And if we only focused on serving our customers, acquiring new people, and letting people know that we exist, you will grow your business. And so I hope this was impactful to all of you. Short and sweet today. And if you need anything, shoot me a DM on Instagram and I will happily serve you anytime.